What's up, everyone? This is Takagi. I wanted to start using this channel to start reviewing some wrestling. I wanted to expand kind of my wrestling viewing this year in 2025. I plan to review most of the big Dragon Gate shows, if not all the big Dragon Gate shows, along with probably most AEW pay-per-views and most of the big shows from New Japan, along with giving a monthly top 10 of the best matches I've seen. So I'm going to go through my best matches of January, give a brief overview on how exactly I'm using my star ratings, and then get into some honorable mentions and then the top 10. So first, quick overview on star ratings. I'm going to use 1 to 5, and basically a dud is a 0-star match. I don't expect many of these to be on here, but had I started this channel a little earlier, there would have been a few duds from that GCW Hammerstime show. And at Gate of Bayside, there was a Inari Gate match that would have got a dud. But hopefully going forward, there's not too many duds. A 1-star match is a bad match. A 2-star match is an adequate match. This is what I expect to be the floor of matches reviewed on this channel. I don't expect many matches to be below this. The wrestling level in 2025 is pretty high. Most things bottom out at a 2. A 3-star match is a good match. This is something I enjoy. Wouldn't necessarily recommend. This is kind of what I expect the average match to be. A 4-star match is a great match. This is what will make up most of the reviews on this channel. A little quick preview on January is every match in the top 10 is a 4-star or better. I don't expect that to necessarily be the case every month, but I would think we'll probably get around 10 4-stars a month on average. And a 5-star match is a classic. This is a must-see if you're a big pro wrestling fan. Alright, so before we get into the top 10, I had 3 honorable mentions. So my top 10 in January, I had 10 matches that were 4 stars or better. These 3 matches came in at just under at 3 3/4 stars. First, we got Naruki Doi and MUSASHI from the 126 All Japan show. I really liked this match. It was teetering on 4 stars for me. I didn't feel like it quite got there. The second match is Neon and Barbaro Cavernairo from the 1-4 CMLL show. This match was good. I just didn't think it really hit that next level to get it quite to a 4-star. And then my top honorary match that was hanging into the top 10 here for a while just fell out when I completed the month was Sareee and VENY from the 117 Seedling show. I thought this match was awesome, but there were just 10 matches a little better than it. Coming in at number 10 is Gabe Kidd and Tomohiro Ishii from New Japan Battle in the Valley on January 11th. Gabe Kidd followed up his epic Kenny Omega match at Wrestle Dynasty by defending his New Japan Strong Openweight title in the opening match and the best match on the Battle of the Valley card. This match is exactly what you would imagine. 2 stubborn as hell, tough as nails men trading blows and never dying. Ishii is still doing Ishii things in 2025, and this match paired with the Takeshita match from Wrestle Dynasty and the AEW Collision match with Kazuchika Okada, he doesn't appear to be slowing down anytime soon. I do feel like you've seen one Ishii match, you've seen them all, but damn if they aren't fun every time. I want 4 stars on this. If you're familiar with either of these men, feel like you can play this match in your head with your imagination, so it's hard for me to recommend. They have a rematch scheduled at Windy City Riot out in April, which is the 30-minute Iron Man match, so I expect that match to be much of the same. Coming in at number 9 is Mercedes Mone and Mina Shirakawa from New Japan Wrestle Dynasty on January 5th. Mercedes Mone has had a bit of a tumultuous entrance into the world of professional wrestling after departing from the world of sports entertainment. The WWE style has shown to be tough to shake in terms of promos and in-ring style. Mone took a bit longer to reclaim her status as the best North American women's wrestler, but she finally turned the corner in quarter 4 of 2024. She's been busting out 4-star matches after 4-star matches, and in this match at Wrestle Dynasty against Mina Shirakawa, she showed she could still carry a lesser opponent to a great match. These two got way more time than Azumi and Iwatani the night before and made the absolute most of it. Mina and Mone displayed viciousness towards each other, and the limb work from Mina was very effective. They told a much better in-ring story than I expected, and despite being a big Mone fan, this match really surpassed my expectations. This is the best Mina Shirakawa match I've personally seen, and it's not particularly close. They did an awesome job playing to each other's strengths. I would recommend this match to a Mina fan wanting to see the best stuff she can do. For a Mone fan, though, this is becoming normal again. I liked about 5 matches of hers in 2024 more than this, and I would imagine if you follow AEW or New Japan Strong, you'll see a match this good from her in pretty short order. Coming in at number 8 is Mayu Iwatani versus Azumi from New Japan Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th. The IWGP Women's title largely feels like it was invented for Western fans and Mercedes Mone to hold, and we don't traditionally see much intermingling between Puro and Joshi wrestling. Wrestle Kingdom has started to present a token Joshi match over the last few years, with Bushiroad owning both New Japan and Stardom. We knew coming into this would be the shortest match on the card, and both women clearly did as well. They went out there and had about as great of a 9-minute match as you can have. You came away from this feeling exactly how the ladies wanted you to feel, needing to see way more of them. I think sprints work really well as a wrestling match and should happen more, but I couldn't help but feel like the goal of this match was a bit of middle finger to the show for the lack of time it was given, and to come see what we can really do without the handcuffs, which capped this match at 4 stars for me. That said, with it only being 9 minutes and these two being 2 of the best women in the world at the craft, I couldn't recommend this stronger. This is what high speed is all about. Coming in at number 7 is Sareee versus Meiko Satomura from Sareeism 123. If you follow the world of pro wrestling, you hear the name Sareee a lot. I knew if I was expanding my Joshi viewership this year, I would be starting with her. Opposite her this night in the promotion named after herself was the legendary Meiko Satomura. My god, was this match a thrilling duel of wills. Meiko was emotionless and vicious with her series of kicks that echoed through the building. Sareee, lacking a weapon of that caliber, went deep into her bag of moves to hit Satomura with anything she could. This match had the intensity from opening bell into the very end, like very few wrestling matches can do. My only real gripe with this match is that it started out dialed up to 10, so this match really never changed gears. The intensity didn't dip, but it also started too high to increase as the match went on. That kind of made the match flatten out towards the end, which is why I ended up giving this 4 stars. It was a terrific intro for me into this world of wrestling. I often hear women's wrestling in Japan is on a different level than its American counterpoints, and this match showed me exactly why. Coming in at number 6 is Yuma Anzai versus Shotaro Ashino from the 1-3 All Japan show. Part of my inspiration of this series was to disconnect from American pro wrestling and with my desire to expand my Puro viewership. I had not watched much Joshi or All Japan wrestling prior to this year. My first All Japan viewing this year was Naruki Doi versus MUSASHI and Jun Saito versus Anzai from the same show on January 26th. I had heard a bit of the Saito brothers, but this was my first exposure to them, and they didn't really click for me. So when I saw Anzai had one of the better matches of January against Ashino in 2025, I was a bit dubious. But this match ruled. It took a bit to get going, which is why I only gave it 4 stars. But once Anzai got busted open, this match picked up in a big way. The emotion and tension was through the roof as Ashino pummeled this man, but Anzai will just not die. I'm big on first impressions as a wrestling fan and find them hard to shake, but Anzai shook my feelings of disappointment from the Saito match, and I can't wait to see what's next for him. Had I watched these matches in order, I probably would have been much more aligned with the consensus on that Triple Crown match from January 26th. While this match is only my 6th match of the month, I would recommend this ahead of most matches above it. This match is what pro wrestling is all about. Coming in at number 5 is Shingo Takagi versus Konesuke Takeshita from Wrestle Kingdom, January 4th. What is there really left to say about these two? Konosuke Takeshita and Shingo Takagi are 2 of the absolute best in the world and 2 future Hall of Famers still at the peak of their powers. This was a 4-star sprint for me and the 5th best match in January. But even at that accolade, it's honestly a disappointment. These men beat the hell out of each other, hit all their signature spots, and delivered every second of the match. I can't really say anything bad about this match, but both these men are so great, I can't help but feel like if you run this match 10 times, or give this match 25 minutes instead of 15, that this is the 10th best match in the series. I expect this to not be their only encounter, as Shingo is linked the strongest to the Never Openweight Championship out of any of the New Japan belts, with Konosuke being the current champion. I think I would opt to recommend whatever the inevitable rematch happens over this encounter. These guys rock. You won't go wrong or walk away disappointed watching this match, but this is the level both these guys reach on a regular basis. Number 4, David Finlay versus Yota Tsuji from Wrestle Kingdom, New Japan, January 4th. David Finlay is the inaugural New Japan Global Champion, and outside of a poor and bizarre Nick Nemeth run in the middle of it, the sole holder of the title. Following in the footsteps of the Intercontinental and United States Championships, the global title is the clear number 2 belt in New Japan and represents the future of the IWGP World title. Facing off against Finlay is the clear future in the company in Yota Tsuji. Tsuji has been presented as the top young guy since returning from excursion in Mexico, and unlike his fellow musketeers, he never fails to deliver in big spots. Finlay and Tsuji delivered the best match on Wrestle Kingdom 2025, adding another great chapter in their quickly developing awesome rivalry. These two have in-ring chemistry you never get sick of, bringing out the best in each other. Both men are finding their stride and delivering against all sorts of opponents, but constantly find magic when paired off against each other. This is one of the 3 4.25 star matches in the entire month of January for me. Both these men are on the short list to hold the IWGP title in 2025, and I suspect won't be the co-main at next year's Wrestle Kingdom. I would be shocked if at least one of these men aren't main eventing the Dome next year, and would not be surprised at all if they are on the opposite sides of the ring once again. Number 3, Young Bucks versus Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi versus Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb. Wrestle Dynasty, January 5th. I've been watching the Young Bucks for 15 years, and peak of their powers Bucks never gets old. This night in the Tokyo Dome, we got precisely that. Opposite them were the teams of Great-O-Khan and Jeff Cobb, representing the United Kingdom, and Tetsuya Naito and Hiromu Takahashi of LIJ. Naito is New Japan's biggest current star, but no longer has the body to work main event singles. Partnered with him is New Japan's brightest star in the junior division in Hiromu. This team is the perfect match of star power that will propel New Japan Tag Division to heights it hasn't seen since the invent of AEW. Okan and Cobb are true strong powerhouse workers that represent the former champions prior to Hanari's injury. This match was a blast from start to finish, with nearly every style of pro wrestling incorporated. We've been spoiled as wrestling fans with nearly 2 decades of the Bucks putting on these kind of matches. I went 4.25 on this. It's worth watching for sure, but the Bucks have 100 matches of this quality in their repertoire, and if you've checked them out or been a fan, you've likely seen a dozen of these. This is a great start to the tag division in 2025 for New Japan, and I can't wait to see the sequel at New Beginnings. Number 2, match of the month. Gold Class versus Z-Brats Twin Gates from Gaeta Bayside on January 25th. When I first started branching out my pro wrestling viewing, Dragon Gate was the first company I loved and started following outside of the United States, and quickly became obsessed. Prior to every company having a streaming service, I relied on other internet means to follow. From 2009 to sometime in 2012, I watched every major show and every Infinity Dragon Gate put out. When I fell out of Dragon Gate for over a decade, I always wanted to get back into it, and one of the main motivations of this channel was to hold me to getting the network and locking back in, like I did during the golden era of Doi and Yamato's first title runs. The Twin Gate title match from Gaeta Bayside took me right back to the Dragon Gate I fell in love with. Riiita has made me feel like a 10-year-old in love with Jeff Hardy the moment I first watched him wrestle, and if you follow this channel this year, I'm sure you will hear him brought up a lot. Jacky Kamei is his partner in this match, and these two have great chemistry as a tag team. Jason Lee and Kota Minoura were opposite them representing Z-Brats. Like all classic Dragon Gate tag matches, the action was lightning fast paced, with incredible chains of moves and masha styles. This has all the ingredients of my ideal Dragon Gate wrestling, along with the traditional face and heel dynamics for the emotional pool. But along with classic Dragon Gate, you get classic heel unit tactics at the climax of this match, putting an artificial ceiling on the match. I still went 4.25 stars on this, but your mileage may vary. The plastic box attacks and heel shenanigans I find more charming in Dragon Gate than in other companies, so it doesn't rub me the wrong way. If you're interested in what 2025 Dragon Gate has to offer, I think there's no better choice from January than this match right here. Coming in at number 1 as the best match in January, I have Kenny Omega versus Gabe Kidd, Wrestle Dynasty, January 5th. This is the exact kind of match Kenny Omega fans have been waiting for 13 months. Kenny came back and went right into the peak form we've all come to grow and love. Opposite him was a man given the chance to have the ball, and Gabe Kidd took it and ran with it. New Japan entered this weekend needing someone in the next generation of wrestlers to step up with Hiroshi Tanahashi's impending retirement and Tetsuya Naito's deteriorating body. Shota Umino stumbled in the Night 1 main event, and while Finlay and Tsuji had a great showing in my number 4 match of the month, they didn't really reach this level of violence and emotion. Gabe had the benefit of working alongside one of the absolute best of the generation, but he stepped up and felt every bit of a Kenny's equal. This match was epic in every sense of the word. This was brutal, this was bloody, this was a fight as much as it was a match. As someone that has watched wrestling for decades, very few matches can make me feel locked in this way, but I had tunnel vision for all 40 plus minutes of this. AEW has failed to capitalize on the momentum of this match for Omega, but Gabe has a big chance to continue to ride the lightning here, following this up later with my match number 10 against Ishii and against Tsuji at New Beginnings coming up in February. This match will likely be my number 1 for my quarter 1 review, and both these men are on the shortlist for Wrestler of the Year with this match on their resume. I'm excited to see what else they can bring to their resume, and this match is a must-watch for any flavor professional wrestling fan. This match is a 5-star classic.